In the swing, we have negotiables and non-negotiables, and the non-negotiables are the things that tell the ball where to start and which way to curve. So in order to hit a certain type of shot, the numbers, or the non-negotiables, just need to be a certain way. The non-negotiables are face angle and club path. Let's first make sure you have the numbers up on the screen. We are in shot analysis, so head over to the touch screen and bring up the data tiles by tapping the icon. You can select or unselect any of the data tiles, and I want you to select face angle and club path. Trackman will add your most recently added data tiles to the far right hand side of the screen. I personally like to have club path all the way to the left and then face angle right next to it. Trackman does display the data tiles in the order that the last person used them, so that's why you might come in and they look different visit to visit. To reposition the data tiles, use the mouse and click and drag on the data tile until it's in the position that you want. Let's talk about some of the numbers. So on Trackman, anything moving down the target line or pointing down the target line is 0 degrees. Moving to the right or pointing to the right is positive. Moving left or pointing left is negative. For a right-handed player, a positive club path would be considered a draw or an in-to-out path, and a negative path for a right-handed player would be a fade or an out-to-in path. Reverse that for a lefty. On this particular shot, Kevin had a club path of positive 4 degrees. That would be a draw path. Now, assuming that he hit the middle of the club face, the face angle would need to be at positive 2.2. That would get the ball all the way back to the target. Now, in this case, Kevin was close. His face angle was 2.9. So that's why the ball started to the right of the target, was drawing back, almost got all the way there. This was a good shot. If club path and face angle are pointing in the same direction, the ball will go that way. So in this particular example here, Kevin had a club path of positive 4.4 degrees. Face angle was 4.5, so they were almost in the same direction. So the ball started to the right and it didn't curve, it just stayed right there. In this particular example, you see Kevin had a club path of 2.6. Now that is a draw path, but in this case, you can see the ball didn't draw. In order to get this ball to the target, assuming he hit the middle of the face needed to be at 1.3, but you can see this face was open relative to the path, and that is why the ball started to the right and curved even further right. If the face angle gets more closed than that 2-to-1 ratio, then the ball's gonna finish left of the target for a right-handed player. So in this case here, you can see Kevin had a club path of positive 4.4, but the face angle was at -3. That's why the ball went so far left. In order to get this ball to the target, Kevin actually needed a face angle of 2.2. Now, if we look at some pretty typical fade or slice numbers, you'll see in this example here, Kevin had a club path of -7. So in order to get this ball to the target, and it is possible, his face needed to be half of the path. So it needed to be at -3.5. But in this case here, it was at positive 3.6. So that's why the ball started so far to the right and curved so far to the right. This example here would be a better combination of club path and face angle to get the ball to fade for a right-handed player and get the ball close to the target. The numbers I like to see on club path for a right-handed draw player are between +2 and +5 degrees. That would be the reverse for a lefty. It would be -2 to -5 degrees. Remember, face angle should always be half of the club path, assuming you hit the middle of the face. For a fade player that's a right-handed golfer, I like to see the club path between -1 and -3 degrees. For a lefty, flip that around between +1 and +3. Remember that face angle always needs to be half of club path. You'll notice that the draw range is a little bit wider than the fade range. Now let's take an example here, a right-handed player swinging in to out, 5 degrees, +5 on club path. Assuming they get the face angle right, that ball's gonna have a pretty good amount of curve, a pretty strong draw. It's gonna go a pretty good ways too. Now, take that same golfer, move that path around -5, so out to win, across the golf ball or across the target line. Assume we get the face angle in the right spot. That ball is gonna start to increase in spin. We're gonna lose transfer of energy. And we're gonna start to lose distance. Be sure to check out the recommended videos because playing better golf is always happy days.